Every February 15th is set aside as the International Childhood Cancer Day. This day is a global collaborative campaign to raise awareness about childhood cancer and to express support for children and adolescents with cancer, the survivors and their families. Every year, more than 400,000 children and adolescents below 20 are diagnosed with cancer. The rate of survival depends on the region, with 80% survival in most high-income countries, lowest 20% in low and middle-income countries. Now, of course, joining me to shed more light on this is Lorraine Govender, National Manager for Health Campaigns of the Cancer Association of South Africa, CANSA. Thank you for your time, Lorraine.
Thank you so much for having us on your station. We really appreciate that and the opportunity to talk about this important cancer.
All right, so let's get straight to it. Now, yet another year in the calendar to raise awareness on cancer, but today specifically is on childhood cancer. How important is this day?
It's extremely important because the day seeks to raise awareness and understanding of children and adolescents with cancer, as well as to highlight, the survival rate, and also to look at the families that have been affected by cancer. As you've mentioned, 400,000 children between the ages of 0 to 19 are diagnosed globally with cancer. And in South Africa, at least 1,500 of those people, of children, are being diagnosed annually. And again, you've spoken about the difference, the disparity that exists between high-income countries and lower middle-income countries. And I think that's important information to share, the disparities that exist in our healthcare system. And, I don't think where you are born should affect your access to cancer treatment. And it's an important day to highlight this.
All right, now let's talk about the level of awareness of this particular day and type of cancer. Of course, in a way, it seems underreported. Do you think enough has been done to raise awareness, talking of stigmatization, and also even knowledge as much as possible, and also in terms of visibility?
Yeah, I think the gap is partially attributed to treatment, abandonment of pediatric cancers, and yes, stigma plays a role, false beliefs about cancer, and stigma definitely will affect a person's decision on whether they should access treatment or cancer care. Now, stigma also may reduce communication due to social isolation, feeling shame, and others' judgment, and these factors also play an important role in the health outcomes for individuals with cancer. We also find, you often hear about other cancers and you don't hear people talking about childhood cancer. And it's often overlooked simply because of misdiagnosis of the early childhood cancer symptoms, because people often think that it's an injury or it's an illness. And I like to talk a little bit more about the injury. When you think of children that have a sports injury or children that often have fractures, parents and also healthcare professionals often just think, oh no, it's an injury, it's as a result of an injury. And they don't take the child in for further investigation. And even if you think about the symptoms like fever is a common symptom associated with cancer, and often children get treated for the fever, for the high fever, and a lot of investigations are not done for that. And raising awareness on childhood cancer and the signs and symptoms are an important way in which we can highlight the cancer.
All right. Now, quickly before I let you go, I want to ask you two questions rolled into one. What challenges do children with cancer face in their day-to-day lives, and how can we as people help? And what health initiatives are in place from your department available to keep their health in check? That's one. And then also the next question, what else can be done to mitigate the impact of cancer on the victims, the survivors, and their families?
Thank you for the questions. And I know we don't have a lot of time, and I want to go through this quite quickly as well to ensure that I get to say everything that I need to say. So in most countries, during treatment, children and adolescents are separated from their peers and are unable to engage in regular schooling. and other activities. However, there have been studies that have shown that children that have been affected by cancer are actually more resilient, and the experience has strengthened them and shown that they can actually do so much more than a child who hasn't been affected by cancer. So their coping skills and the resilience is definitely higher. But this is often more prevalent in high-income countries because there's sufficient psychosocial support for these children that have been affected. And I think if we have an environment where there is sufficient psychosocial support for patients and children that are undergoing treatment, we're going to see better treatment outcomes for them. But one of the things that we've also picked up is that children that have been affected by cancer often present with post-traumatic stress disorders. And this again displays the importance for psychosocial support, for there to be sufficient safe areas where they can go and hang out with their peers, for people who also understand them. But also going into stigma, I really want to say this. We need these children to be the ambassadors, to talk out about how their treatment has impacted on them and how new treatments are available and how they have improved their lives as well as a result of treatment.
All right, Lauren, thank you so much. Thank you for your time, but we have to let you go. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much for having us.